So somebody asked me about the yen or the carry trade, and I don't understand that honestly. I still don't get it. I guess if you're in a trade long enough, the swaps and all that stuff matter. But if you're just scalping, it's the same issue of what do you do at the if you're in a giant position and 5 p.m. comes and the spread gets very wide and you're very close to your some of your stops, or maybe you're in a trade with a tight stop, and here comes 5 p.m. Yeah, that's a problem because you really just have to get out. If you're worried about all those little fees, then you have to get out for that reason right there. But if it's a swing trade and you have a wide stop, you really don't care. And if you're looking at the big picture of like, wow, that's a pretty crazy price. So I was cracking up just now looking at the Bitcoin because I thought, wow, we're just like people think Bitcoin's going to 1 million, and it's on its way there right now. So I put on I see the Bitcoin here and I say, that is cracking me up, I was like, if you're buying Bitcoin here, you must be a long-term investor because if I thought I'd missed my buy in Bitcoin, since I don't invest in it, I would be putting in buy limits right now thinking, well, it should pull back. I mean, it's at 62. It's right at the borderline. It just pulled back on the daily, and crude oil's just opened up. Super gap open. Like the wheels are going to come off. At least the mob of people, they're going to step in and start buying gold and start buying the Bitcoin and apparently selling the yen. So I just put up the Japanese stock market, which I never look at, and it looks more insane than our stock market. I really never looked at it. But look at this thing. What's going on here? So this NASDAQ, I just added it to the charts. But it's out of control. I try to put up every market, but somebody's asked about natural gas. I couldn't find it. But look at this thing. I mean, this makes our market look. So here's Corona here, and I don't have a platform that just has two of those charts. So if you could just look at those two, and you could make all sorts of. You can analyze the way they interacted with each other. I was watching somebody. I went down the rabbit hole on the YouTube and was watching people talk about the movie The Shining, the first film version. And man, these people had these. If you take it and you flip it and you run it against each other, and I'm like, and then the guy was putting on Abbey Road, Beatles on top of it. It makes Gartley trading look reasonable. It makes a Fibonacci handle look like you'd bet the ranch right there. You get in so heavy that it just be like, well, 618. Come on, man. Come on, 618. But look at all these markets. I never look at all this. People have all this stuff running. Here's the French market, the UK. I mean, you had to explode, right? All markets, all stock markets seem to be up. I don't really have time to look at them all, but when you look at a chart, you kind of take it like you want to figure it out. So it takes some brain power there. If you're only trading a few currency pairs, then it's going to be, life isn't going to be that complicated. But if you've got 20 screens, because you can afford to buy 20 screens because you're very serious about trading, next thing you know, you got 20 screens. But then again, can you play, like they say about guitar, you could have, $1 million rig, but can you play guitar? So you can't make up for the lack of playing because you got a high-end rig. The high frequency idea is kind of silly too, right? Because if you knew that was the Fibonacci handle, then you would just put your limit order there, walk away. You wouldn't have to babysit it and be a sniper, right? If that worked and all these things worked. Of course, I'm watching this robot that I'm running in real time here, realizing that it's never going to get a fill, but it might get a fill one day. it's so conservative. I'm watching it put in orders that are so far away from the market. I'm like, well, this is not even going to be able to scalp anything. So I'm usually scalping. I'm usually going to do a 1 hour trade if I can, but sometimes it turns into a 4 hour trade, or it turns into a fucking battle between my limit orders and the market's rate of change. But basically, the trick is to find out how big a trade you think you want to be in. You know, like, do I want to be in $100,000 position, or do I just want to be in a $20,000? So if you want to trade 20Ks, that means you have, if you trade 1Ks, you have 20 fucking chances to make money. I mean, how dumb can you be? Now, I understand nobody wants to get stopped out of a 5K and lose. Like, if you don't want to lose, you don't want to lose at all. Like, your brain doesn't have a, well, you lost $1,000. It's just like, well, did you lose? Because anytime you win, you're on the winning side. Even if you're up $5, you're like, hey, look at that. I'm up five. I'm up. I mean, technically, you're winning, right? The threshold is binary, but not over time. Because if you're making $1,000 a month, or $10,000 a month, or $100,000 a month, in the trading world, you wouldn't be able to make $100,000 a month clean. Like, it's not like going to come out like that, because what kind of system are you using that has that kind of consistency? I got to see that thing. So, based on the fact that the fucking Bitcoin and these people bidding it up is, I'm just laughing my ass off. I'm like, there's probably some guy right now going, hey, that Bitcoin thing. Like, I got an alert on my phone, and I guess it's great if you're long, because if I was long, I'd be just dumping the fuck out of that thing, getting cash, and just going, yeah, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put cash under my mattress. I'm gonna go like 1920. So 1970. So harmonically speaking, if you want to go into the harmonics of it, yeah, all these things are stacking up. You've got the analog crash. You got cargo shit. People, you got bureaucracy telling people, well, don't you understand that you existing is clogging the system? So therefore, we got to shut it down, because you know what? Living's too dangerous. Like it wasn't before. So maybe this is the aha moment. The whole planet's saying, well, gee, but I mean, people are heading for the hills, aren't they? Finally, I'm so glad to see it happen. I must say, I'm really not into people getting their arms lopped off, but if that's how you want to, if that's what you need to wake up, then there you go, right? All of a sudden things come. I hate to be the person that's, I told you so, but we all knew that, right? We all knew that if we pushed something too far, it would just blow up. But then somebody come and pick up the pieces, and these private companies are already doing that. They've got their own fucking cargo ships, man. These you're relying on the government institution to make it okay for you to put a ship out there, to put something out and get it done. God, let's hope not, right? So, nature finds a way. Like, you try to stop these weeds in your driveway. You pull them out. Next thing you know, they come back. They're like, thanks for the reboot. I'm here to kick more ass. So, as nature finds a way, I'm not really worried about that. And they're trying to make another pandemic out of, they want to get back, they want to go for the climate change right now, because they want to get into that. You know, that's what they feed on. But if you live long enough, and unfortunately I have, it's all the same song. Just, it seems to be getting shorter and shorter. It's more pop music, and the tide turns, and the people go the other way. And so, yeah, I would say do not buy Bitcoin at this price level. If you're an investor, put in buy limits tonight. Or if you really think it's going up, if you really think it's going to the moon, Alice. If you really think that's going to happen, that Nikkei's on fire. Monthly chart. If you really think that's happening, just put buy limits in. There was a guy that was on the stream when the Bitcoin was down, and the dumps there, it was, I don't know, 40,000 or something. Or his Bitcoin guy. You know, it's so hard because I guess the temptation at this point is to buy because you wouldn't want to miss out. It does look like, and it really does look like that tonight, just right tonight alone. Look at this beautiful RSI is kicking ass here on the analyzation station of it. If you're going to get all technical now, you got to buy here as a reversal. You have a more, it's actually a perfect 5 period. You got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 period reversal. And more oversold at a higher price. You take these two numbers, you add it to the highest close between those two, and you end up here. Then another buy. More oversold, higher price. Now this is stretched out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 period. The best are the 5 period. Now we're gonna spike. We are gonna take out the highs. We're gonna make an all-time high in Bitcoin. It'll be the news. Now, the big rush and crude oil just gap open tonight. But this is going to be a circus. This is going to be absurd. And I mean, for the scalpers, you know, it's just a gold mine. The fast markets, the people love volatility for this quick and dirty money. And then the investors are happy to sit back and hold on to this giant, position. For 2 years, you know. So there's two worlds there, you know, and even stocks, you know, everything's choppy. So the volatility is usually some distribution. This would be the Wyckoff theory of it all. Some distribution points happening. So right now it's 9/11 time-wise. So I'm going to trigger the YouTube bot there. But here we're coming up on, so coming into tonight, it's going to be fucking insane. The numbers are going to be mind blowing as far as the markets quoting inflation supposedly. I mean, finally, it's making to the charts. You know, if the fundamentals are true, then the yen. And I don't know if there's a Chinese chart market, but supposedly Chinese markets are collapsing. And maybe that's why the yen is collapsing. The dollar is killing the yen, and the pound is killing the yen because the Chinese collapse. I don't have a Chinese stock chart, but that's what they're saying. I understand. But I don't know. You know, I don't do those trades, so. But you could see that if you're going to be in the market for, okay, imagine you bought during the Corona crash and you're still long. How about you bought from the 2008 crash in the stock market and you're still long? I mean, at what point do you get out? So the big question is, how much money is in your account, your trading account? How much money is in your, well, I'm just going to go buy something at the store account? And in the end, don't you live on what can I buy at the store now? I guess you got to get your own cow now because they're going to shut down the cargo ships that are bringing in my. Apparently, the guy that delivers my ice cream has taken a break, and then I went down the other store. And the guy that has ice cream at a high price, his refrigerator broke, and the parts are back ordered. Now those parts are on a cargo ship, I think. I said, well, can't we just 3D print a fucking part? I mean, that's what's going to happen. So people are just going to 3D print a part, you know. They used to talk about having your own nuclear reactor at home, like a baby one. And that would be also the ultimate, right? None of this waiting for the wind to kick up so I can watch my favorite Bitcoin go up in price. But yeah, I don't even know. I think people are losing their minds. I watch these markets. I just cringe every time I see this Bitcoin go up and think about people buying into it. But maybe they're right in the long run. But I mean, it was at 30,000. What the fuck? Why did you buy there? Oh, just you know, right. So people probably shit their pants thinking it was going to tank, and and it's like, are you putting your whole life savings in the Bitcoin? Bitcoin. It's just too much. I cannot believe what I'm seeing. But this is how people are, man. Look at this stuff that people have bought. Remember crude oil at $140 a barrel? What in the fuck? What was going on in this world fundamentally that took crude oil to $140 a barrel? What on God's green earth? Come on. Look at it now. Look at just gap open this morning. Look at this thing. This is going to be the big news Monday. Oh, it's just going to be, I don't even know what it's going to do to the stock market. I always try to guess on that. Is that going to hurt the stocks? I don't know. Stocks are going to fucking make a whole new high. No, if this is it, they're firing people. Maybe it's the fact that all the immigrants coming in really are going to be the new Americans. So they're just saying, you know what? Forget there is no I think everybody's aware of the fact that the only constitution is the one that's in their head. The only thing that anybody, I just saw this guy from the Republican Party get on and kind of sheepishly admit that we have a problem. Now, I've never seen anybody. He's trying to be cordial, Whereas if he was a little more militant, I guess he's trying to appeal to sanity, but is there any left? He's just, Then this guy gets stabbed to death over in the UK. So the wheels are coming off the train, finally, we're seeing that. And the flight, so this is another thing. What happens is that inflation is a scarcity rally. So people buy into stuff, freaking out, right? It is true that there's spikes. So when the government says it's temporary, yeah, the spike is, but the long-lasting creep, the mission creep, the larger picture, right, the big trend is in that direction. So people say, well, you should protect yourself by buying this and that and the other thing. Really? What are you protecting yourself from? So I don't have this view. My view is, don't buy Bitcoin. Just buy a new guitar. Because you're not going to get healthy if you're trying not to die from corona. So supposedly, the reason why the market's crashed is because people are afraid of dying. Or being in pain. Painful death. Isn't that the ultimate fear? Whereas at this point, with all the fucking drama on all these fucknuts, walking around like zombie fucks with a goddamn fucking mask on and putting it on with the cameras come on. Put on your mask. Like, show you care. I don't fucking care, so that's a big problem there too. And then maybe maybe I just die angry. I just die pissed off. But yeah, if you know how it should be and you see how it is, that creates anger. I mean, you're just like, this is not right. But if you make a living from trying to be right and trying to get it right, and you do get it right, when you finally realize the parameters you have to deal with and the set time. Even if you were to own a high-end, successful coffee roasting rig, you still need to do it well. You can't burn the beans. So there's no difference between that and anything else you do. So if you're trading for the trade because you want to end up in U.S. fucking dollars because you want to go to the U.S. fucking store and buy some U.S. fucking shit, I suppose. Or you're going to buy offshore, right? You can buy European. So I've been buying European for years because it was better made. right? It was you buy the best made shit you can buy, right? You buy Swiss because you have to. They're the only people fucking give a shit about it, you know. Look at Sweden. These people, their head doesn't come unscrewed. It's something about, I don't know, what is it? Because they're such a small little one house schoolroom, they can get it right. Where the rest of the world is a giant churning bureaucracy of fucknuts that just don't have a fucking clue. It's just mind boggling. So, the chaos of the world is represented in the chart, I suppose, in the way that people scramble for price. And just the complete overshoot, overreach, unfair value of price, fair to unfair. So fair value would be it if you're in the middle of dojis, people agree. If you see a doji, it's not confusion, it's agreement. I mean, at that point, everybody's like, okay, seems like the going price. Until something from the outside now in the Bill Williams book, Trading Chaos, this book by Bill Williams, he's saying, or all his books is saying that all you need to do is bump something and it just kind of starts spilling out into the universe. So if you have a piece of debris, or you have, this object that people think is worth something. Obviously, people think Bitcoin's worth something. They're buying the shit out of it. At this moment, they think it's worth something. The velocity of the move is a little bit suspicious. If Bitcoin is really going to go higher, is it a more authentic move if it climbs higher or if it spikes higher? So I'm always leery of a spike. I'm always suspicious of very fast markets for the long run. So we got the scalpers and we got the long-term traders. I mean, the most edge of the spectrum. A guy that can scalp and make a living, and the guy that is in a position peeling off X amount a month. I mean, at some point you got to get out of trade. Or at some point, aren't you going to? Unless you think that you're so fucking right about this trade that when you retire in 20 years or 40 years or 10 minutes, that it's going to be there for you, and then you can cash out and you can exhale and relax. You don't have to work anymore. You don't have to make any more decisions about some trade you're in or some house you bought or some car that doesn't run anymore. And so where does the trading fit in, right? And then, so that is, outside of how you want to trade it, do you want to really only check in occasionally like it's an investment, or do you gonna cash out and I suppose reward yourself with the work, or cash it out into something that's super safe, like you buy another house, or I would say, here's my advice, and this, I'm authorized to give this advice, says that you just keep drilling down. Okay, if you own a piece of property, and I'm thinking in terms of like, just keep going down, and just put a basement beneath your basement beneath your basement. I don't know what the legal limit is for building down on your house. You might check that. But isn't that where you want to go? Because if people really fucking blow it up, don't you want to like at least have a waterbed down there and chill on the last final days, right, of the apocalypse? So if you really think that's going to happen, right, you build your own bunker. I'm sure people are already doing it. The ultra preppers, I'm sure they're like, don't tell anybody. I think you go down it sideways, right? Go in your neighbor's house. But yeah, you want to try to dig when. Here's my also recommendation: is do this during the wintertime when the snow's going to absorb some of the sound. Because you're going to be digging down. That's another pro tip. Wait till the winter comes. So here comes 9:30, and this is going to be some hell of a week in the news. I think finally going to be mainstream news will be all financial this week, for the first time, and this is when the people on the street are going to come up and say, I'm thinking about buying Bitcoin. This Bitcoin thing's pretty good. It maybe does go to $100,000 a Bitcoin, right? But it won't be me buying for that, because I'd be looking at it right now thinking, we come into the U.S. markets open tomorrow. It's going to be crazy town. I think what's going to happen is the markets are going to go choppy. They're really not going to resolve, but the volatility is going to make people's heads explode, and people are just going to be thinking, go nuts, man. Because the other thing is, they're coming out with this election data. The whole thing, Sanjay Gupta on Joe Rogan, it's a perfect storm coming into Monday morning. So this is going to be, the volatility is only going to increase now. It's fucking going to be crazy. If you can't get your Tonka truck in time for fucking, and your Lego set in time for Christmas, is that going to fundamentally, so if I was doing a newsletter, like, you can make money doing newsletters and just talk bullshit. People love it. You say, I think Bitcoin's going to 200,000, and here's the fundamental reason why is because Timmy couldn't get his Lego set, and the clear blocks that we make the windows, and it's gonna be a dark winter, and we're all gonna freeze to death because we can't get any more propane. Well, don't turn off my lights. I just heard the ad, so there is this ad. It finally came to mind. It's coming to your town. It's coming to a town near you. Heads up, my electric company has ads now saying that they're going to start running windmills, and they're going to start waiting for the sun to shine to give me electricity. And I'm like, and then he said, would you like to pipe in about that? Yeah, I'd like to tell you, knock it the fuck off and build a goddamn coal plant so I can sniff the soot in my backyard and know I won't freeze to death, please. Anyways, that's it. Let's see what happens here. This is gonna be fucking circus. I cannot wait to see Monday's headlines in the financials. And then the clamor, the wheels are coming off the ship, and these fucknuts want to spend 90% of this spending of trying to help people, trying to help the world by just taxing people to death. The cost is zero. I mean, what fucking fantasy world are these fuckers living in? I hope they get their ass kicked. I hope Bitcoin goes up to $1 million, just to scare the shit out of the structures, the government structure, because they'll tie it to everything on that point, and then we'll get a full reconciling polarity shift as far as people. It just getting there, right? So you look at this. If you look at that sell-off right here on the chart, this is now got to put it in perspective. At this point, everybody in the world was going to die. The people came out with the models from the universities. Look at this projection. Now, if you didn't know what was going on there, like you didn't have a headline to go with, what could you possibly think about that move? I mean, that is just incredible. That's mind-blowing. And look where we are now. About the same place Bitcoin is, just tipping the scales here to go up. But if you look at the dollar index, it doesn't make any sense. The dollar index is the same fucking, I don't know what's indexed against, its own dollar. I don't know what the fuck that is. When I go to the store, I've been watching prices, at the store. Apparently I'm not buying the right stuff. It hasn't gone up. And so I see that side. That's another kind of news headline. Everybody's trying to make money in the news. So I don't really take the news either way as being, there's so much lag. There's so much that hasn't been done. Nobody even has a real law about mandates. There's so much fear that people are just firing people because they don't want to get kicked out of the party. They don't want to get kicked off they got their coupons, and they don't want to lose their points. They saved up points. And nobody wants to say anything because they don't want to lose their job. Of course, it's been like that for years. I mean, when they recall a car, do you really think they didn't know that was fucked up when they sent it out? We're going to have to recall that car. I trust and fucking believe some guy that works at that factory, plant, or company knows that was a piece of shit design. It was fucking, nobody checked that lot. They got a fucking piece of equipment that needed a new burr. They didn't replace it. It was out of tolerance. It was bad casting. There's porosity. They overheated the metal. It's just fucking obvious. Somebody fucking knew. Yeah, this Joe's the new guy. He's gonna do a shitty job in there, but it looks okay. I mean, it seemed to pass the test okay. And Inspector Lee says it's not too bad. It's gonna be okay. No, it's not. It's not gonna be okay. It's a piece of shit. Like, it's blowing up, dude. It's garbage. Somebody knew. So the whistleblowers, yeah, but now people live in such a high lifestyle. People living so rich, man. I see people driving high-end cars. You fucking won't believe people driving now. I mean, just in a shit town. I see guys in fucking Lamborghinis now. I'm like, really? Fuck, I guess this is, maybe it must be, the used ones are going cheap. I don't know. But yeah, it depends where you live. I'm sure there's Aston Martins every corner. They're hitting each other somewhere, But is that really happiness? Is that really what you fucking, like, if you don't have ass cancer, you should be happy. So all the trading mindset, well, you can make $1 million. There's a guy that, he's like, can you make $1 million a day? I mean, yeah, I guess. But what the fuck is your mortgage? What lifestyle? If you're used to those numbers, which I'm not, I don't make $1 million a day. I can't imagine. Like, what are you doing it for? It'd be a lot of work to make $1 million a day, I suppose, or to get to that level. And even once you get there, then what are you buying that's so important? Trust me, if you buy, I've had the highest end equipment, and I'm like, so my buddy, same thing. He bought the highest end equipment, and he thought, well, I'm just gonna see, he sold it, went on vacation. Now I was astounded because I probably wouldn't buy any more high end equipment, but he sold that to swap it and trade it to go on vacation to Europe. And supposedly he slept in this haunted bed where these hands grabbed him, and he said it didn't bother him a bit. It was haunted, and he said the ghosts were company. Now, I don't know if he's kidding, but he was a jokester. But in the end, really, what is the point, right? The Bitcoin's going to fucking 100,000, and people are into it, and I'm like, I don't get it, man. Look at you. You're a fucking mess. You can't sleep. You can't eat. You can't, you're drunk every day. I don't know. So there's more to life than money, I suppose. But I can't believe these markets. I never thought in my life I'd see shit like this. I never thought I'd see people wear fucking masks, honestly. I would lose every bet in the world on this shit. And I still can't believe people are buying the Bitcoins. But this is it. This is the people that are wearing the masks. Like, in other words, when the herd does something, you can't fucking believe. I will refuse to participate in insanity. I'm not going to start buying a mask company. Like, I mean, people that are still selling the masks. That market's getting hurt. Go short masks, right? I already went short masks before it even started. So the other problem with thinking like a trader is that you see, oh, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Whereas the people that are coming to the party late and saying, well, but my newsletter says the place to be is crypto, Okay, but it depends which crypto train you're on, and how much did you buy that, and how long you're going to be on the train, and what are you planning on getting out of this thing? Because the point is that if they think it's going to 1 million, well, I got to ask you, on the way to 1 million, are you going to get 120 grand? So if you double your money in Bitcoin takes out 62,000, it goes to 100 grand. Do you get out 100 grand? Yeah, I guess so, right? I would certainly consider that to be a good trade, because if you really think it's going to 1 million, Well, then why don't you just, when it gets to 100 grand, just put in limits to buy it when it drops every 10,000 and just scale into it, because that's the logical thing to do. Where you're going to get the better price, you don't going to get it now, but isn't timing everything? So timing the market is what people are trying to do, because they're saying, I only want to be in the market for this thing. I was scalp out, get back in, scalp out, build my account up, cash out of something, use the account to trade and make money? Or are you just going to go hog long into something and hold it for 20 years and say, look at this, am I a fucking genius or what? Okay, well, the punchline is 30 years from now. So in other words, for you to, and then when you sell it, and this is going to be a heartbreaker, when you sell it, you might be like 5 years left in your life. Now what? So here's the struggle is between how much you're going to live your life and how much you're going to invest so later on you can live your life, because now you can get all those things you always wanted. This is a big problem for traders trying to, or the greed mindset that comes into trading based on, if you did this, then that. And now, well, can't you just do that now? And then the trading doesn't matter. And then when it doesn't matter, then it's easier to make money because it doesn't matter. Or it's easier to say, I don't care what happens to Bitcoin because I own it. And it just doesn't affect me. But now if I was in $1 million Bitcoin position and I bought it at 30,000, or I bought it all the way down on handles of 10,000, and that one order that I bought at 50,000 is up 10,000 right now, and every ticket was the same size. Tonight, I would cash out. And it would just be so, and if you had more than one Bitcoin account, trading account, brokerage account, not actually buying Bitcoins, but I suppose a Bitcoin account that you could actually trade on margin, so you go the other way. There's money in an account that just trades Bitcoin. You're not so there's so many angles on that. When the guy asked me about, well, what do you about the carry trade, I just thought, okay, this is a guy that's thinking that must be a long-term trade or something, or this is a swap situation. I don't know what the fuck that even is. But I don't care about the swap on Wednesday. I don't know. I can't. I can't even think like that, because it's just, the market's so fucking nuts that I suppose there's a way to do it. I know this Clevesis guy was doing a swap bot where you grab on to both sides, you hedge in a balanced hedge, I think, and you exploit the fact that the swap's changing. And it's maybe more, it's kind of like if you bought, what is it called, that digital coin that's like tied to the dollar, some name for it. It's like the swap coin, it's just sitting there. Oh fuck, I don't remember the name of it. But it's just supposed to be, and then when that was acting up, I remember about 2 years ago, people saying, that thing changed, that stable coin fucking went nuts, man, everybody's freaking out. Now, did you remember that? So I watch a lot of Bitcoin news and people talk about it. But through all the news and all the so here's another thing, is that when they came out, when Bitcoin was selling off, the reason in the news was because, well, China's going to outlaw it. I thought, well, that should make it go up, because if you can't mine anymore, I mean, the price of electricity is going up, which means the price of Bitcoin is going up because it's built out of electricity. But these things reach a brick wall. Some of these things are tragic. If everybody's in, it's scary. It's frightening when everybody's on these trades like this. Crude oil's breaking out though. Tonight it's up already, $10 out of the gate here. It's on fire. Oh, it's almost up. Yeah, almost up a buck. Sorry, $10. 10 points. It's almost up a buck, which is a big deal, because if you look at the big long term here, you're just cutting into, you're coming up on highs that go back to 2014. So yeah, you're on your way to $100 a barrel here. So I mean, there's no resistance in this vacuum. There'll be scalps, but you're basically you could make it to 110, 107 there. Quick and dirty too. Look at this plunge here in 2000. So this is before. Here comes Trump, 2016. Crude oil's coming in 2018. Crude oil was on a run there, but this is right around. You expected crude here. This is the Corona thing, and then there's the Corona thing, election thing right there. I do think they sabotaged the. It was just a natural sabotage there. This reminds me of the depegging of the Swiss franc. This is quite the amazing, mind-blowing. I don't think you'll ever see this happen again. So if you're watching this video 1,000 years from now, my channel has been shut down. Just mark my words. You probably will never see crude oil at $16 a barrel for the rest of your life. Is they're going to have to start building true infrastructure one day. They're going to have to build instead of having dumb shit, rich zones and police. In other words, no rules for anybody. There's going to be a rule. It's called reality. So if you want electricity, you're going to have to get yourself rebuild some generators and hardware. You need stuff ready to go online because that infrastructure is going to fail. Where I live, they're rebuilding a bridge where I live. Actually, they're rebuilding every fucking bridge on this one road at the same time. This is dumb shit. This is the government. This is how they do shit. They just fucking do it. Just do it. And then they won't work on the weekends. They won't work at night. They're in some fucking union. It's going to take them 3 fucking months to fix this fucking road down to one fucking lane. And when you think about it, it's the bigger the country is, the worse, right? I don't know Sweden, how many people live there, but so we're all in this ship of fools, we're all at the mercy, and it's kind of like musical chairs because they keep turning the music off randomly there, and the people that are in certain fields, I remember when the air traffic controllers went on strike and Reagan was in office and stuff. There's been a lot of trauma and a lot of drama in this country and other countries. So I used to think that people over there in Europe are out of their mind, but look at these French people, they're just completely like, fuck this, So finally people are saying, fuck it. That's where you got to get to. And then maybe the volatility dries up after that. But at the moment, I don't think the wave's crested as far as the volatility. And when the oil market explodes here, which is really the ultimate, because of the regime that's been installed, digitally installed, has got their hands on the faucets there, and you're coming into this price vacuum. It's just you could say at this point, of course, you'd have to say when you bought crude there at $22 a barrel like a genius, if you bought down there, that at this moment, you're still holding this trade. Can you imagine? And you're like, okay, man, we're going into this giant vacuum, and we broke out a couple weeks ago here when we took out that high of the year 3 months ago. And this is when we already knew that we have dumb fucks driving the ship. So it's a Titanic situation coming up here, but it's just for a spike. And the spin from the regime is that, well, can't you see? It shows that the the economy's good because people want to buy this oil and there's demand. So it means that we're back on track. Well, we are in a sense because what's going to happen is we are going to come screaming back to another price level, and we'll probably go sideways after that. And the volatility dries up. But it's certainly at the moment just insane. So I say scalp it. I don't care about the swap. I don't care about the carry trade. I don't care about fucking nothing, really. Just my ice cream. Okay, so, and I need vanilla ice cream because I was down eating chocolate ice cream and I thought, this really is a crisis. A crisis of the un-ice creamed. So I got to find some new supplier now. I may have to have it flown in on dry ice or something from Amazon. I may have to go. I think what's going to happen also is that people are just going to. This is a book that came out, I think, that 15 years ago. It was called Cocooning. This guy was talking about, because people have home movie theaters, Blu-ray. They got fiber to their house. They got. Why leave your house? I mean, lockdown's been here for self-imposed lockdown. I mean, I signed up for lockdown, I think 20 years ago. Now, I just, like I said, I'm just going to drill down. As they double down, I drill down. I put another level in the basement. I just keep going down. And that's way I feel safer. Also, the geothermal factor of this is also a big. So in 1990, I wanted to buy an underground house. I was making money back then, so my dream was to buy an underground home. That way I just might have a lawn for a roof. I'll have a greenhouse with water, tubs on the side of the hill. You got to build your house in the side of a hill if you go underground. And I thought it'd be perfect, quiet, no furnace running, and So now I just have to get a skylight, I guess. I just have to put a skylight in my roof here, but because I can't afford to go underground like that. But that was my dream back then. I thought, yeah, this would be the perfect way to survive. Because don't you want to survive? Isn't the reason why people are shitting their pants over Corona is because apparently they want to live. I don't get it, but everybody wants to go to heaven, but they're afraid to die. And so I'm ready to get the Corona. I don't want to be in pain. So I think actually the pain is worse than the death because nobody wants to die a painful death. We want to die like, boom, you're gone. Didn't even know. Woke up dead. Didn't even know. Nobody wants to be in pain, right? That's why people are soothing themselves with these. That's why I'm eating ice cream, honestly. But because when they had ice cream tonight, I thought maybe this is the apocalypse. I came back home and I had to eat black olives, out of a can. I just so depressed. But that's what's going on here. But no, this is gonna be something, man. And I mean, the Bitcoin people are just gonna be heads are gonna explode. They'd be so bullish, but I think they could get you can get very heartbroken here because you need about 80,000 on Bitcoin, and people are buying into it. I don't know. I just don't know. It's not my trade. I can't even psychologically imagine being in that trade because I would be cashing out right now. I can't even imagine how much. The more I bought, the more I'd be like, no, we're good. We just made $1 zillion. We're good. I'm out. Like if I was long Bitcoin from 200 right now, going, oh yeah, I think we're gonna hit 100 grand here in the next year or two. Can't we just get out now and go fucking get drunk? Can't we just get out right here? So that's the other problem is being up in these trades is as bad as being down in a trade. I mean, it's a different feeling from it's a tempting fate feeling. You're really up and big on this one trade and this is really good money right now. I know that this is my target was like, I thought it would take a week to get to this price. We just got here in 4 hours. I think I'm getting out. Like, I just, especially at this time of night, we haven't even opened the U.S. markets yet. So Bitcoin could spike and make an all-time high, and then U.S. markets open, and that could be it. Like, that could be the tippy top tick Tommy entry. We don't know. Nobody knows. And that's the whole fun of it. Nobody fucking knows. Nobody could say. And to watch this thing, all this stuff going on is just mind-boggling. The fact that people are jumping on a mandate that doesn't technically exist shows you the knee-jerk reaction and the complete stupidity of the fucking goober mob. The masses are asses. They get their head of their ass so bad. See, if you jump on some of these ships that they've created out of their hysteria, it's just mind-boggling. I mean, if you went short crude, if you went short stock market, thinking that if you went short the stock market in Corona, like Glenn Beck did, he claimed, me and my wife are going to the. It's hysterical. This is like the final sell-off. It's like. Just as the market's in its final sell-off, Glenn Beck's like, yeah, my wife and I have decided tomorrow morning we're going to go to the bank and we're just going to cash out of our stocks. What? From a guy that suppose has the foresight of, this and that and the other thing. But there you go, right? I mean, and not that he's not right about stuff, but people just, these are amazing times. I can't believe this shit. This is crazy town, It's a big difference. You're trying to make 200 pips, 100. If you're trying to make 25 pips a day and trying to make 25,000 pips, whatever Bitcoin is at now, those are two different worlds. I can't even imagine. So yeah, the carry trade is like about. I can't tell you, but like I said, there's people that have. Systems that exploit that, and that's really like the bond market. I suppose it's like a creeper gear trade. It'd be like if you bought a bunch of Telecasters tonight. If you went long Telecasters or Stratocasters, these Fender guitars, what do you think? Pretty low risk, right? Probably not going to get killed, probably not going to get rich. Unless you buy a particular, if you buy guitars of somebody who's just about to die, maybe. If you're trying to bet on who's going to die, and I'm going to buy this guitar because I think this guy's going to die. And I found one of his guitars. You don't have to play guitar. You could just trade guitars, right? So that's the thing. You're playing the guitar. Another thing is the Bitcoin. You can't hold it in your hand. It's not shiny. Like if you have a gold coin right now, which is doing pretty good, gold's still holding 1,700, and gold might go to 2,500, and you might. That's a fucking great. Plus the new numismatic value. If you have a rare coin, a limited edition minting, and it's in mint condition, it's in the case. You can take it out and look at it. Now that is another. Psychological investment on a tangible basis. So another reason why the Bitcoin is like, I can't even imagine investing in Bitcoin, because if you're holding a fucking Bitcoin that was minted in a machine that they've been discontinuing that minting machine, these are tangible, analog, hardcore realities of stable currency that is it may fluctuate $200, but it's not going to. I'm not talking about from a. It's like having a security blanket. You open your safe, you look at your coin, and you go, yes. Now, that presupposing nobody steals your whole safe, right? You could still take the whole safe away with a Caterpillar truck, But if you were going to look at that, and maybe you put your safe in the floor. That's why you want to dig down, right? You put the floor safe into, and you have the this kind of tangible security, and knowing that even if the gold goes down to $700 an ounce, it's still worth something, right? So this is the end of the world stuff. ultimate prepper view of life. So that is, so you're trading to make money so that you can, unless you close the trading account because you made so much money, you're just going to never trade again. So when does it end, right? Or is this something that you're constantly drawing off of to buy necessities of life or to buy presents for Christmas because you want to get Timmy this Lego? So that matters, right? So instead of giving Timmy a kick in the head and going, shut the fuck up. You're rich already. You already got a cell phone. Now shut the fuck up, kid. So that's why I don't have kids, right? Because I would tell my kid, listen, fuck Christmas. Every day's Christmas now. Fucking figure it out. Go fucking learn how to trade. Shut the fuck up. Go get the fucking MT4 running over there. Don't talk to me about that shit. You got a cell phone. Trade. So that if I had kids, they'd just be trading their fucking ass off. I talked to a guy in Brazil that he had a 2-year-old on his lap, and he says, I'm teaching this kid to trade. Yeah, of course, but here's what happens, right? I mean, Phil Collins' kid's playing drums. But for to be your own kid, right? This is the other psychological trick, is to talk to yourself, coach yourself, mentor yourself, and get a self-help book, right? But then you have to have the courage to go against your nature if you're going to try to change it, right? So if you're trying to adapt to the chaos and all that crazy shit. And new opportunities open up. So there's a lot of private people who are going to benefit hugely because they're not corporate, right? So there's certain hospitals that you can just go work at. You don't have to get vaccinated. You don't have to. They're going to benefit. And just like the public schools have been dying for years now, I love it. Every time I see a public school abandoned, I go, thank God. It's about time, people. So there's more private schools than ever. There's more. So I know the headlines are bad because people want these public schools to work out. It's not going to work out. It's a government school. And you're expecting it to perform privately? The customer is only right in a private business because you're going to lose a customer. The customer is always wrong in a government system. It's your fault. So it's your fault because you didn't. It's the fault of the free people, right? The unvaccinated. That's their fault. The free people are at fault. But the free people run the show. It's impossible to think about shutting down. You can't fire the guy that's hooking up your electricity. You can't fire him. It's just so stupid. But this is an amazing time to be alive if you're in the markets and if you're into politics at the same time. You're never going to see anything like this again in your life. It's gonna simmer down because the reconciling is coming. You can't steal something and not get reconciled at some point. It's incredible. I've never in my life, and I lived through the 2000 crash of the tech wreck when people said, well, the computers are going to lock up. Well, it turned out the stock market locked up, didn't it? Crude oil at $140 a barrel. What is going on there? And there was guys on CNBC and Fox News. There was a guy in there that was talking about peak oil. They're going to run out of oil. They can't dig anymore. And then somebody came up with fracking and goes, well, we could do it like this. But I got tar coming out of my faucet. I mean, this stuff is incredible, man. You're just if you're in these markets watching this shit, it is circus, but it's always been. Go back to 1978 when the savings and loan crashed and nobody bailed them out. 1987, people jumped out of fucking windows, dude. People jumped out of brokerage windows. People committed suicide over market fluctuations, and maybe they're doing it now. We just don't hear about it, right? Because we're hearing about how many dumb shits, how many dumb shits are wearing a mask. Anyways, that's it. I'm gonna go.